Hi, are you tired of getting shitty advice from random people on social media about healthcare issues? Well, the doctors of YouTube are here to help. I'm Dr. Rich, and our channel is here to provide evidence-based healthcare information about women's health and many other issues. Thanks for joining us. Has Hollywood gotten surgical robotics right or wrong? Now let's see if House knows anything about a surgical robot.
Relax, Cameron. I'm not gonna cut you.
That ain't no robot I've ever seen. So I think this is a made-for-Hollywood robot. Everybody thinks of Da Vinci as synonymous with surgical robotics, but there's actually 80 different surgical robots currently available or in development, and a handful of those are direct competitors for Intuitive's surgical robot.
I just want to show what this puppy can do. It can make 1 millimeter incisions. You know how small that is? It's small even in metric. If I do something that doesn't make sense, even to you, stop me.
So House got that one on the nose. So the main advantage of surgical robotics is the precision of the dissection. Essentially, the robot, through a computer algorithm, translates your broad movements in space into tiny little millimeter movements inside the patient, making everything you do more precise.
Delicate, no?
I don't know what this freaky deaky stuff Dr. House is doing with the robot. Robots are not designed to tickle people's cheeks or do anything weird. I guess he's taking it for a test drive. Typically, though, you would do that on a box trainer with little silicone pieces that you can suture and do stuff. Usually, you're not going to take a test drive on your med student's face, unless, of course, you want to go see HR after the case. So you don't have a handheld suction irrigator that you just plug onto a robot. You don't have a handheld scalpel that you just plug onto a robot. The robot is actually not designed to have anything to do with making incisions, as we talked about in our last video that you can check out here. There's none of this suctioning someone's navel and cutting off their dress. Assuredly, the robot has much more glorious implications than, hitting on your med students.
You either do this or you die.
Well, that's ominous. So, Dr. House, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. So none of the instrumentation was accurate. The actual utilization of the robot wasn't demonstrated here. The reason they get 5 points out of 10 is he does allude and actually specifically talk about the precision of the surgical robot, which is its main advantage. And in this show, they're discussing a condition that requires ultra precision, so they're bringing a robot for that. Fan favorite, Grey's Anatomy.
Systems ready.
Oh, no, you did not.
Oh, yes, I did. The Da Vinci SI-HD.
Okay, well, this is clearly made for Hollywood. The robot doesn't jitter with excitement and say, "All systems ready." Like, as soon as you walk in the room, it actually does have a voice, and it says mundane things like the patient height and clearance.
Da Vinci is shutting down. Da Vinci is ready.
Things like that. This is actually an older version of the robot. This SI came out the same year as the iPhone 1, if you can imagine. So we're 2 generations ahead. We have the XI and the SP. Now that's the current version.
Tell me you didn't wait till I all but left the general surgery program to buy some Da Vinci?
Let me retract that small bowel so you'll have better visualization.
You know what, Chief? Thanks to Leo, you don't have to.
Leo?
Leonardo. Da Vinci. Here, watch this. See? 540 degrees of wristed movement.
For a minute there, I thought this was an advertisement from Intuitive Surgical for the Da Vinci robot. So yeah, no, you get 3D vision, you get this articulation with the wristed instruments that you could never have laparoscopically, and frankly, more precision than you would have even if you did an open surgery. but it allows for a minimally invasive approach. And we also all have nicknames for our robot. I've seen Wall-E's, I've seen Terminators, I've seen Winter Soldiers. So everybody's got their own name for the robot. We named ours the Med Student Terminator because, as she's pointed out here, she doesn't need help. The fantastic thing about the robot is you have total control not only of both of your instrument arms and the camera. In comparison to laparoscopic surgery, we have to give control of your camera to somebody else, and they're moving all around, and you get dizzy by the end of the case. You have control of all of that, plus an additional arm. So it's like you're a four-armed surgeon. So we see Dr. Beatty kick Dr. Weber to the curb because she doesn't need his help because she has a fourth arm. Maybe they'll genetically engineer surgeons so they have four arms in the future.
Can't do that with a laparoscope.
Or an open surgery.
You know, Dr. Chalakonda at Cleveland Clinic is doing single incision gallbladder removal through the belly button. We can try that on the next one.
Yeah, so having trained at the Cleveland Clinic, we have early access to virtually all technology. We got our Da Vinci robot, actually 2 generations before this one in 2002, 3 years before it was FDA approved for gynecology. So all in all, actually pretty accurate. I would give Grey's Anatomy a 9 out of 10. Basically, the features, advantages, the technology, and how it's used was all pretty accurate. They mention some obscure references to single site, which is all correct. The only difference is it doesn't jump for joy when you walk into the OR. Other than that, pretty accurate. Looks like we have to send House back to medical school to figure out this surgical robot thing. But you don't have to go to medical school. All you have to do is drop down and hit that subscribe button and learn everything you ever wanted to know about the surgery robot.